What is up, you guys? Gold Pony here today in the 2018 BMW X5, courtesy of Apple BMW in York, PA. Today, I will be going over everything that's new for the 2018 X5, as well as everything else about it. So, let's start with pricing. And so to start, there are several different setups for the X5. First one is going to be the S-Drive 35i. That is going to be the rear-wheel drive version. That is going to start at $56,600. Then there is the X-Drive 35i, meaning all-wheel drive. That is going to start at $58,900. Then the X-Drive 50i. That one's going to have a larger engine. That one's going to start at $73,650. And then there is the diesel version, X-Drive 35d, for $60,400. And the X-Drive 40e, which is the electric version, that is going to start at $63,200. And quite honestly, the electric version and diesel version are cars of their own, so I'm going to place emphasis on the 35i and 50i today. And so to start, powering the 35i is going to be a 3-liter twin-power turbo inline 6-cylinder engine, and that one is going to put out 300 horsepower at 5,800 RPM and 300 pound-feet of torque, available from 1,200 to 5,000 RPM. Power is going to be sent to, again, either rear wheels or all wheels through an 8-speed Steptronic automatic with sport and manual shift modes. And in case you were curious, 0 to 60 time on this setup is said to come in at 6.1 seconds, but like I said, to put it in that manual shift mode, simply slide the shifter to the back and to the left there, and that is going to allow you to shift through the gears. Actually, paddle shifters are quite quick. They are magnesium paddle shifters as well, so definitely a high-end feel to them. So overall, yes, the paddle shifters actually work quite well on this SUV. You don't find that quite often on SUVs, so I'm a fan. But so then when it comes to the miles per gallon numbers on this one, that is going to come in at 18 in the city and 24 on the highway. But so then there is that other engine setup belonging to the X-Drive 50i. That is going to be powered by a 4.4-liter twin-power turbo V8, putting out 445 horsepower, 5,500 RPM, and 480 pound-feet of torque, available from the power band of 2,000 to 4,500 RPM. Power is going to be sent to all 4 wheels through the all-wheel drive system through an 8-speed Steptronic automatic. 0 to 60 time for this one, 4.7 seconds. That is pretty crazy for an SUV, so that is definitely a good thing. And MPGs on that one, 15 city, 21 on the highway. And by the way, both the 35i and the 50i both do come with an auto start stop system as well, meaning when you're stopped at a red light or a stop sign, the vehicle will automatically turn off for you, helping you save a couple MPGs there as well. But now, before I continue with the rest of the performance, let me touch on what's new for the 2018 X5. And so to start, a backup camera is now standard for 2018. Also, there is a new automatic transmission for the 2018 model year, said to deliver quicker shifts, and actually, having drove the 2017 X5, I would actually have to agree on that one, so well done, BMW. And then the last thing I wanted to mention for 2018, and probably X5 owners are the ones that have noticed this, but there are new trapezoidal exhaust outlets for the 6-cylinder, the one I have today, compared to the previous generation, so that is nice as well. But now, continuing on with the performance, there is something called driving dynamics control, and that button is going to be located just to the left of the shifter. But with that, you have the ability to choose between Eco Pro, Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. And basically, those are your driving modes. What they're going to do, besides completely change the gauge setup, which I think is amazing, and I'll show you guys that a little bit later, but those driving modes are also going to adjust the shift points, the throttle response, and if you set it on that Eco Pro mode, it is also going to adjust the climate control, the heated side mirrors, and the heated seats as well. And basically, that's just going to make everything work in a little more energy efficient manner. And so, but now, since I have not done it yet, let's do a quick little acceleration in sport mode and see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. Wow. That was seriously quick for the 35i there. Did not expect that, but pleasantly surprised. But I guess it does have 300 horsepower, 300 pound-feet of torque, so very nice acceleration on this SUV here. But so then, continuing on to touch on the suspension and ride quality, so far this is quite a smooth ride. I'm definitely impressed. Definitely can see myself taking this on long trips, so nice there. And when it comes to that suspension setup, up front there is a double wishbone front suspension, and in the back a lightweight multi-link rear suspension. And I did want to also mention, in case you were interested, there is a dynamic handling package, and that's going to add an additional $4,500, but that is going to adjust the steering feel and handling firmness, and it's also going to add active roll stabilization to help reduce body roll. So if you wanted to have a little extra fun in this one, that is a package to consider for you. And then one more package, the dynamic damper suspension with the rear axle air suspension. That's going to add an additional $1,500, but that is going to be your adaptive damping suspension. So that's going to adjust to the road conditions as well as your driving style. And that is really going to help create a much smoother ride. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, a much firmer ride if you're doing some higher speed cornering. So that is going to be the best of both worlds, really. And then a couple more things when it comes to road noise. It is definitely pretty quiet in here, so no issues there. And visibility actually is quite nice as well. There's a big old rear window back there, so I can see perfectly fine out the back. And then one more thing when it comes to visibility, you guys, there actually is an available heads-up display. That is what I have today. So not only is it telling me the speed limit of any given road up on my windshield there, but it's also telling me, of course, how fast I am going. It is also actually going to display safety features up there as well, so when you start to go off-road or if you don't buckle up your seatbelt, it's going to let you know up on the windshield for you. So wanted to add that as well. And so, but now enough with the driving dynamics, you guys. Let's check out the exterior of the 2018 BMW X5. And so up front, there are xenon adaptive headlights with dynamic auto leveling, Corona headlight rings, and cornering lights. And just below all that, LED fog lights as well. And integrated into that front bumper for increased aerodynamics, there are front air curtains up there. And then making our way to the side, looking up, there are satin aluminum roof rails, also satin aluminum exterior trim. And when it comes to those side mirrors, there are power folding heated side mirrors. And like most SUVs these days, rear privacy glass does come standard. And when it comes to the wheel setup, they do come sized up at 19 by 9 inch star spoke wheels with run flat all season tires. But then making our way to the back, there is a rear spoiler with the integrated brake light on the top, along with a rear window wiper, and just below it all, dual exhaust outlets with chrome tips. So as always, you guys, here is that exhaust clip. Now, since we are around back, I did want to mention there is a button on the key fob there to open that rear hatch if you wanted to, and a power tailgate does come standard on this one. And once opened up, though, cargo capacity is going to come in at 35.8 cubic feet. And if you wanted to fold those rear seats down, that cubic feetness is going to jump up to 76.7. And in the trunk back there, there is a 12-volt power outlet along with a luggage net, a multi-purpose hook, and 2 cargo rails as well. But then moving up to the rear seats, rear legroom is going to come in at 36.6 inches. So for reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had back there. And in the back, there is a rear center armrest with cup holders for those rear passengers and rear ventilation back there as well. And I did want to also mention there is a rear seat entertainment package that is an additional $2,200 to the price, but that is going to include 2 9.2 inch color screens on the back of the front seats, and you can use that for game consoles or video sources, whatever you want to do there. So that is definitely nice if you have kids in the back there. But then making our way to the front seats, the standard setup is going to come with 14-way power adjustable front seats with 4-way lumbar support and memory settings as well. And of course, they are going to be heated, and you can get optional ventilation if you wanted that as well. But then looking forward, there is a tilt and telescoping steering wheel. It is 3-spoke and leather wrapped. And then when it comes to the key, let me show that to you guys. You of course do have lock, unlock. The lock button is actually the BMW symbol there. And then the button to pop the rear hatch if you wanted to. But anyways, it is all keyless entry, so simply put your foot on the brake and press that engine start button. And then once started up, you are going to be looking at a digital display. Definitely looks good. Gas meter is going to be the small dial all the way to the left, and there is the speedometer. The tachometer is going to be on the right. The digital display in the center is going to give you various different messages. But also, like I was previously saying, I'll show this to you guys now. The driving modes, when you select them, that is going to adjust all the digital displays. So Eco Pro is going to give you a blue kind of setup, Comfort is going to give you a black hue, Sport is going to give you a red hue, and Sport Plus is basically going to keep that red hue just without the traction control on. So definitely loving that the driving modes completely changed the gauge setups there. Now let me touch on the overall interior quality of this one. Standard setup is going to give you dual zone climate control. There is 4-zone climate control available if you wanted it. There is also ambient lighting standard throughout the X5 along with an auto dimming rear view mirror. And there's an anthracite headliner along with poplar wood trim. And I gotta say, the wood trim on this X5 I have today, it is a texturized wood trim, so it's almost like you can feel the grooves of the wood as you put your fingers across it. I definitely have never seen that before, and I am definitely a fan of that as well. So that is going to be throughout the vehicle. So not only on the dash, but the doors and also around the shifter as well. But then continuing on, there is a panoramic moonroof that comes standard. That is what you're looking at right now. And overall, let's just say this is a BMW, so you have quite a nice finish when it comes to the interior here. But then front and center, making my way to the tech, there is a BMW navigation system with a 10.2-inch high-resolution display screen that is going to give you a 200GB hard drive with 20GB of storage for audio files, and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is going to be available for an additional $300 there. And by the way, to control everything on that screen, you can either simply touch the screen because it is a touchscreen display, or you can use the buttons and circular knob just to the right of the shifter there. And again, those driving modes will be displayed on this 10.2-inch screen as well, along with your miles per gallon if you wanted to check that out there too. And you can also view your audio settings and radio stations up there. And by the way, the standard sound system on this one is going to come with the hi-fi sound system with 9 speakers, 205 watts, but I do have an optional sound system today. That is the Harman Kardon sound system. So let's turn on the radio and test out the clarity of that one. That was one of the weirdest songs I've ever heard in my life, but definitely a good bit of bass there, actually crystal clear. Definitely a fan of the Harman Kardon sound system that I have on the X5 today. But then, like I was previously saying, when you do put the X5 in reverse, there is that rear view camera letting you know who or what is behind you so you don't go running anything or anyone over, which, as always, is going to lead me into safety. And so to start, there are front, side, and side curtain airbags, as well as latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for those rear car seats. Also, there is an adaptive cruise control system available for an additional $1,900. Parking assistant is going to be an additional $500, but that is actually going to take care of the steering for you. For instance, if you have to parallel park for a driver's test or something like that, spend $500 and you don't actually have to do the parallel parking. The car is going to park it for you, so that's an option for you. Also, there is night vision with pedestrian detection for an additional $2,300. There is a driver assistance package for $1,400. That's going to give you a heads-up display as well. And the driver assistance plus package is going to add an additional $1,700. That's going to give you a surround view camera, active blind spot detection, and speed limit info as well. And so, but anyways, that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video and subscribe. Feel free to follow me on social media at the bottom of the screen there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay gold.